People often ask me, what's your favorite rifle or what's the best rifle? And I understand that it's kind of an age of superlatives. And I've owned an awful lot of handguns. I probably haven't done too much handgun shooting on the channel. But then I decided, well, I'm going to take out my Luger Carbine and just show how it works. And not that you don't know how it works, but it's something special in my collection. And getting back to my first remarks, so I like the Colt 45 a lot. A lot of the modern guns are amazing, the Glocks and so on, but somehow the Luger I liked Lugers a lot. And when I was younger, it was a lot easier to find them, and they weren't very expensive actually. And my grandfather, who had fought on the German side, spoke fondly of the Luger. So that kind of affects your thinking, as a young person. So I ended up with, Lugers, and then this Luger Carbine, which is actually the last Luger I have. So I thought I'll show you how it shoots. And I was snooping around Cabela's. They have a fantastic used gun section that I buy from once in a while. And I found these great values in ammo. They have the Remington and they have the Winchester. I don't have really allegiance to either Remington or Winchester. All this ammo is great. The main reason I bring it to your attention is there's some really good prices out there for bulk ammo. And there were bigger boxes than this. People write me about, all kinds of things. And so I thought I'll show you what I'm shooting today. So we'll just drop that down. And in case you haven't watched my other videos, I did show this, or maybe it was on Patreon. It's actually, a very simple idea, this toggle. The toggle action, of course, to get it to work is another thing. You know how it is with ideas. Everybody has ideas, but how to turn the idea into an actual success. And I would say the Luger is a success. It's a complex action. This is no different from hyperextended elbow. This would be the elbow joint or knee joint, depending on how you want to think about it. And so you can see how the barrel moves back, and I can move it back with my hand a little bit. I've shot this naturally before. The stock is removable and adjustable. You just have to flip this, and I guess at the end we'll take it apart, maybe. But so why does it exist? I'm sure somebody would ask. Well, probably because when the Luger came out, and I don't know the year that it came out, it was a sensational handgun. There was the Borchardt and some others before, but the Luger was a real success. This one's made in 1936, and as you would expect, made like a watch. I've always liked the grip of the Luger. I don't know, everybody has a different preference with grips, but now, of course, with this essentially shooting a rifle with a pistol grip in 9mm, kind of like the, the Ruger 9mm carbine, or the Henry 9mm carbine that everybody wants and nobody can find yet. But so this, they're easy to shoot. There's just something fantastic about shooting a historic firearm. And I have different grips, actually. These are grips I put on because they tend to take a beating a little bit when you're shooting in the field. But I have the fancy grips that go with this carbine. And for collectors, they always want everything to match. And the Luger always has, well, like a lot of guns, numbers on all kinds of parts, because these parts were fitted parts. It wasn't machine made. And so there was no guarantee that one part would fit to another firearm. These things. So that's the Luger Carbine. And I loaded up a couple of magazines, and I was looking at the magazines. So, even the magazines, I guess the magazine matches the carbine, which is good. And they have different markings. And of course, all of the historic firearms, the Israeli 308 Mausers and any of the historic firearms are of significant collector value these days. I always thought the Luger was pretty smart, you know, having the window in the side of the mag so you can see what's loaded. Usually I only shoot 3, but today I thought I'll shoot 5 and we'll see how it goes. Are there any things to mention about the Luger? Not really. I put oil on here, but I put oil on all semi-autos, and then so you can see that's the toggle back, and that should be in battery. And I think in German it even says here, it's hard to see, but it's Iladen, so I'm maybe missing a letter. I'm assuming that means loaded, so kind of a good feature. We've got that kind of gong downrange, one of those steel plates, AR500. Actually, it's 2 of those plates today for some reason. So I was just shooting a few minutes ago, and yeah. So, I mean, the carbine moves around. You probably saw that, but it's easy to get the sights back on. And of course, we should check, make sure that there's not a round in there. It's one of those firearms, it's hard to describe how great it is to shoot. And the odd time, a brass case will hang up, but I find that's almost always the case if I don't put some oil on the rails in here. And also another thing, in case you get one of these or get a Luger, and Luger owners will know this, always buy the full power ammo. Sometimes there are rounds that somehow don't have enough punch to them. Anyway, this is a steel and aluminum base plate magazine. Works perfectly. I used to have a collection of Luger magazines too, and then this one, well, it's about the same. It's got some period markings. There are people that study all these markings. Same window. This one had some surface rust, which I think gives it character. I didn't fire this magazine. I fired the other one just now, but hopefully it'll work. Oh, and I've had some of these that have, they have a wood base plate. So there's a whole variety of mags. These come up for sale all over the place, and the mags aren't cheap anymore either. So then you'll see the barrel move back, toggle up, and ready to go. And I think on that last bunch of shots, it was 5 for 5. So I mean, it's just a terrific carbine. And I think I told you I many years ago took it just on a lark. got some idea to take it hunting with the correct ammo and all, expanding. And yeah, I had actually collected a small but still good blacktail, coastal blacktail buck way back when. And I mean, it works. Anyhow, let's shoot these other 5. There we go. You can see sometimes it does that. Kind of glad it happened. So it's not a perfect mechanism. Who knows why that happened? But it does that. So, I mean, all things considered, it's pretty amazing. 1936, got some decent ammo, threw it together, take it out, and anybody can hit that plate all day long. And then when you're done, you just take the stock off, and there it is. I mean, it's a Luger. It's a Luger pistol that they turned into a carbine. There are all kinds of like variances too. I've seen them with shorter barrels, longer barrels, and then some custom-made Luger carbines. And I mean, I think they're all fantastic. Definitely worth owning. I think I showed you in the studio this one with the steel butt plate fitted, and just, you know, a truly wonderful firearm to own. All right, well, I hope you found that interesting. We'll probably do some more shooting. It gets kind of addictive. Oh, and I was lucky, you know, to get it at all, I have to say. They don't come up often, but if you do see them, and you can wing it, you never really lose money on guns. It's really just having the money tied up in the guns. And then, especially lately with inflation, they're all going up, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times the value, as the modern guns go up in value too. All right, well, thanks for watching. Like I said, I hope you find that interesting, and we'll see you next time.